Oh, hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to my corner of the multiverse. This is the Salty Goddess Podcast, and I'm Margaret Perry. Welcome to your Hump Day Guilty Pleasure. Thank y'all for joining me. Please be sure to share, follow, download, comment, and do all those wonderful things that everybody should be doing to spread the fuckery of this podcast to all your friends and your relatives and your neighbors and your PTA and whatever else. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, first of all, did you all survive Pie Week? And if you did, how much weight did you gain? I actually gained 2 pounds, and I hope you had pie every single day. I hope you did. Also this past week, I should say, the Salty Knot ceremonies, of which I'm a goddess of the multiverse, performed their first wedding ceremony. So that was loads of fun. So it was quite the busy week. And now we have entered fruitcake season. So I hope all of you are able to find a really great recipe and you can make yourselves some rum-soaked fruitcake. If you make some, you had better be the Sharon type because I would really love some fruitcake, some good fruitcake. As we go into our, Yule season, winter solstice, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, or whatever else it is that you may celebrate. I hope you all have a wonderful season, and we'll talk more about that as we move forward. So, as you all know, I love to learn new things. And it is rare that I am surprised, shocked, or taken aback by some new information that I receive. This past week, well, I had hoped everybody's turkey would be moist. And I had hoped that most of you would not be choosing violence before you donned your clean panties for the holiday. Yeah. And I do hope all of that came true for you and your families so that you weren't spreading a bunch of disdain and unhappiness during this Thanksgiving season. But I did learn some information and it really shocked me. And if I was wearing pearls at the time that I heard this information, I probably would have been clutching them, to be honest. So I know that we've talked in this country a ton about reproductive rights. And those of you that know me know that I absolutely 1000% believe in medical autonomy, meaning your body is yours and you get to make your decisions. It's none of my business. You do you, boo. I'm not here to judge because it's not my business. But what I found out this past week kind of blew my mind a little bit, okay? So I guess we've got gentlemen selling their biological matter on Walmart, or no, not Walmart, on Facebook Marketplace. And you meet up with a young lady and you, put it in a cup, I guess. And then she's able to go and purchase an insemination kit to inseminate herself. And you can get it at a drugstore. Or I suppose you could just use the Turkey-Baster that you used on the turkey this past week. If you have no other turkeys to baste. You can baste your own turkey, if you know what I mean. I was gobstopped. I was shocked. I didn't even know what to say. And it's a real thing. Y'all, please, I beg you, don't do this. Don't do it. Don't do it. You are meeting up with some rando and taking home their biological matter. You have no way of knowing whether or not this individual doesn't have some disease process that can be shared with you. And it could be the Sharon type that it never stops sharing, people. Are you guys thinking straight? Like, how high do you have to be to think this is a good idea? Not to mention the fact, gentlemen, let's look at this from, a legal standpoint. Our laws and legislation have not caught up with this type of behavior. Therefore, if your biological matter is used to impregnate a woman and she gives birth, you are on the hook for that child support for that child. Now, maybe, nobody knows someone's name. You don't find out where this person's from. You don't know anything about them. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so now you're giving some medical history to your offspring and you have no idea about who the donor of that DNA is. But know this, there is a chance that if their profile is in any of those DNA databases, they will find you. Y'all are wild. And is anybody thinking about this? And then what happens if your progeny from one rando marketplace exchange meets with another one of your progeny from another marketplace rando hookup thing you got going on there? And they have no idea that they're related. Think about what y'all are doing. Is anybody really thinking with their brain? And I mean the brain inside the cranial vault, that brain. Come on now. You guys, come on. You got to be, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. So it gave a whole new meaning to turkey-basters and fluids and things of that nature. And yeah, that was my shock for the week. So I didn't quite have an existential crisis about it, but I definitely felt it was something that should be addressed. Because, guys, you got to think. You have to think steps ahead, steps down the road, the ripple effect of behaviors and decisions. And this is going to lead me into the next part of this conversation, which is learning about professional behavior, appropriate public behavior, and quite frankly, just a level of respect that each of us could, learn to embrace. All right. Now, maybe your lived experience is one where you did not have role models of professional behavior, of appropriate behavior. But I know that if you've attended school, there were some teachers, maybe some mentors that you've come across that could teach you the niceties, the customary way in which you should interact with other people in public. Okay? That's not yelling, screaming, swearing, threatening one another, and just having this snide tone in your voice and things of that nature. I have to tell you, if you are old enough to have a couple of kids and you are old enough to have a job, you're old enough to know that being polite is important. And I am not talking about someone who's disrespecting you straight up in your face, but I am talking about being in a classroom, being in an assembly of sorts, in a concert. You're out in public. And check the tone that you use when you're speaking to someone. Would you like it if someone spoke to you in that tone? Would you allow your children to speak to you in that tone? Or would you consider it disrespectful? If you would consider it to be disrespectful coming from someone else, I can promise you it is disrespectful coming from you. Now, I get it. You haven't had role models. You didn't have someone to teach you. I get it. I do get it. I do understand that lived experience. I've seen it. I fortunately did not experience it. I had a role model who was polite and kind and taught me what is appropriate behavior in public, what's appropriate behavior to my, chain of command, if you will, the people that are my supervisors, my managers, and things of that nature. You cannot expect to engage with people in society, in public, and have there be a positive outcome with that experience if you don't know how to hold your tongue when you think you're being disrespected or you think that someone is speaking to you in a manner in which they shouldn't. If you cannot, even for a few moments, keep your cool, you need to check yourself before you wreck not just yourself, but your future and potentially even your family's future. And I see this so often. I see it in high school students. I see it in young adults in college. I see it in the workplace and across many different professional positions, whether it be patient care techs and CNAs and radiologists and nurses and physicians and nurse practitioners and physicians associates. I see it across all of them. We really do have to do better and be better. One, I'm going to say this. It is never appropriate to bully someone. All right. And if you are of that type, grow the fuck up. All right. You got some trauma or some shit going on. Go get that shit fixed. Go get some therapy and stop taking your shitty experiences out on everybody else. That's first and foremost. Second, you do not have to respond every single time someone makes a comment to you. I will say one more time. I know you've heard me say it before. Ego and authenticity cannot handle the same space at the same time. They cannot be side by side. Ego is what you are concerned with everyone around you believing about you, your image. All right. Ego is important for some things, but not for your daily living. Okay. You have to have enough ego to be willing to take on a challenge, but you don't have to live in this place of ego where you feel that if someone has said something that makes others think that your value is less than, that you have to respond to that. You see, because when you're authentic, you know your value. When you are living you and you are totally confident in who you are, what you bring to the table, what you espouse, people making these little comments here and there, it doesn't even bother you. And I've explained this in the past. Someone's opinion of you who does not know you well doesn't matter. It doesn't matter and it doesn't count. Because if they don't know you well, they don't have all the information. So if they don't have all the information, they're not making an accurate deduction about you. So if it's inaccurate, why does it matter to you what they think? Okay? It's you guys, you got to let go of that ego. You got to let go of that ego. Because if you're living with that ego in the forefront, you're living a facade. You're more concerned about how others perceive you versus what you actually live. Okay? And what you actually live is what you are when no one's looking, when there's no expectation, and when there's no draw on you. So I wish I knew these things. I wish I understood these things when I was in my 20s. It took me until I was in my 40s to figure it out. All right. You spend a lot of time, and it is a waste of your time trying to get other people's approval or to get them to believe in the image that you've set forth. Just role model what you are. Those that matter will know. And that's all that should matter to you. Now you'll say, oh, man, Margaret, that's easy for you to say. That's great. Look at you. Friends, I'm here today in this position, in this existence, because I've lived some of those things. I wasn't born this way. I was born salty, but I wasn't born with all this knowledge. It's stuff that you accumulate over the years that you live and the experiences that you have. And I'm telling you, I wasted a ton of time worrying about what other people thought. And at the end of the day, they were people that did not have all the information. So those of you that are medical peeps, listen to me. Think about this for a moment. You're trying to assess a patient, right? Here's an example. Assessing a patient, but you can't get lung sounds, you can't get bowel sounds, you can't get vital signs. You don't have a past medical history. Are you able to give this patient a differential diagnosis? No, you're not, because you don't have all the information. Therefore, your differential diagnosis could absolutely be 100% inaccurate. So, individuals who don't have all of the information about you, they don't know all of the things about you, their opinion can 100% be flawed. So why do you care what they think? You shouldn't. And I know that you guys have heard me say this before, but we're about to head into the next holiday. It's going to round out the year. So we go from Thanksgiving to the Christmas season, Yule season, Hanukkah season, and then we go into the new year. That's a lot of pressure, a lot of seeing people that we might not see any other time of the year, a lot of interaction with the public. All right? Don't waste your most valuable currency on that kind of bullshit. Don't. Why ruin your holiday? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And if you're one of those jackholes that think that your opinion of other people matter, bitch, get in line. It forms to the left. All right? Because just like assholes, everybody's got an opinion. Some work and some don't. For the most part, they don't. All right? That is what I hope for each of you, all of you, in 2026. And I hope each and every one of you put together that goal of creating your confidence in who you are, and you own it. And don't worry about what everybody else thinks. All right? Some of them people drive Fords, for fuck's sake. Jeez. You know that. Never a good thing. Never a good thing. So let's just all agree we are going to work with people, know people, interact with people, and we might just take one look at them and think, I really don't like this person. But you're an adult, or you're about to be an adult, and you have to learn to work with people you don't like. All right? We have to. Are you grown up or what? Are you still like an infant who cries every time they don't like something because their panties got wet, or they didn't like their baby bottle, or they had gas or whatever? You're not that. And honestly, the general public could do well to learn that they need to just zip that shit and get on with their day, instead of perseverating over a perceived dirty look, or the roll of the eyes, or a sigh, or some other kind of noise. Let it go, friends. Be like that Disney movie. Let it go. Because these people don't count in your life. And I dare say, ain't not a one of them worth going to prison or jail for. So why bother? Why bother? As a matter of fact, y'all should be unbothered. Okay? Period. End of discussion. I do not understand why you would want to deal with those feelings anyway. Okay? I wouldn't want to deal with that. I don't care. I don't care. And I'll tell you something. Excuse me, because I had to have a little drink there of ginger ale. If you are no longer bothered by what someone's opinion is of you, it is a freedom. I swear, you stand a little taller, walk a little straighter, and you smile a lot more. There is a freedom to being confident in who you are. Now, don't take it to the extreme, y'all. Don't be walking around thinking that your boss's opinion of your body of work doesn't matter. Now, don't be silly, okay? Because you have to work. You have to, produce that body of work. And of course, your boss needs to know you're serious about your job, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm strictly talking about you as a person and your personal belief system about you. I'm not talking about arrogance either. And there is a difference between arrogance and confidence. Confidence is believing and knowing that you're competent. You're competent at whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be programming, healthcare, podcasting, sewing, designing, whatever it is that you do. And you have confidence in the competence to do that. Okay? Arrogance, my friends, is when you walk around with a ton of ego, think that you know what you're doing, and you really don't. Okay, confidence is having the skill. Arrogance is believing that you have the skill, but you don't. All right, so arrogance can get you into trouble. Confidence, it could still get you into trouble, but at least you've got the skill to back it up. Okay? And there is a fine line between them. Very fine line. So again, arrogance, ego, confidence, competence, authenticity. That's where you want to be. You want to be confident in your competence, and you want to be authentically you. You expend a ton of energy and time living where ego is what rules what you do. Time, your most valuable currency. You cannot replicate it, regenerate it. You cannot get it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Excuse me. You cannot replenish your stores of time. We're all here for a finite amount. So don't waste it. Don't waste that time. Be authentically you. Those who appreciate you will be drawn to you. You will attract those same like-minded individuals. Those are the people that should be in your circle. Okay? Not the ones that aren't, attracted to authentic individuals. All right? Your life is not a movie. This is not a script. So you shouldn't be play acting at anything. You should be authentically you. Okay? So trust me when I tell you, sometimes it's difficult to get to that point. Sometimes, it can be scary stepping outside that comfort zone, but you won't grow if you don't step outside that comfort zone. You will never, ever, ever grow and add to your toolkit and add to your experiences. So take the time to grow. Take the time to assimilate new knowledge and live your authentic self. If you're a Dungeons and Dragons player, let your flag fly, my friend. It's okay. If you like nerdy sci-fi books, if you like sci-fi movies, if you are into, old Camaros and cars and old rock, 80s rock and stuff, Who cares? I think that's fun. Do you? Today, I met a woman my age, maybe a little bit older, and come to find out we both like five-finger death punch really loud in our cars when we're driving. And she told me, you're the first person that I've met inside the four walls of this specific building that listens to stuff like that, like me. I said, well, we are kind of unique. What can I tell you? And a couple other people had weird looks on their faces. And I thought to myself, well, what do you listen to? And what do you listen to? It's not my kind of music, but it's okay that you like different stuff. Variety is the spice of life. Having different friends, having different opinions, having different ways of doing things. There's nothing wrong with that. Who said you have to conform? You don't have to conform to shit. Do you? And celebrate it, for fuck's sake. Okay? So it makes other people uncomfortable. That's their fucking problem, not yours. So how about 2026? One of our goals should be, we're going to let our freak flag fly. Okay? It's freaky to other people. It isn't freaky to us. Okay? It isn't freaky to us. There's a lot of things that we all like, and it is totally okay liking all those different things. So mincemeat pie, it's fruitcake season. I like heavy metal. Guess what, though? I'll also listen to Celine Dion and Taylor Swift and U2 and Journey and Foreigner and a bunch of other music. I actually even like classical music, depending on what I'm doing. So a little Bach, a little, Handel, Mozart, all of those things. There is nothing wrong with variety and nonconformity. And you will see throughout history, those nonconformists are the ones that really rocked their world. So I fully expect to start seeing everybody's freak flags flying come 01 January 2026. Remember, now is the time we should be starting to set our goals. And you will not hear me set a goal that I'm going to start exercising or running. I'll run my mouth and I'll exercise my right to run my mouth. But that's about the only exercise I'm going to get. All right, I'm still going to love sea salt, caramel, chocolate squares, and pie. And I'll be looking forward to Pie Day in March. And I'll have a countdown timer. And all those weird things, all those random things that people are like, that's just so weird. Yeah, Margaret, you like the weirdest things. Yep, I do. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, I wouldn't have talked about those things because I didn't conform. So people look at you a little weird. All right? Not anymore. I tell everybody I like fruitcake and mincemeat pie and all kinds of other wild things. And I hope for all of you that you can start creating that confidence in your competence and start living your authentic life. You be your authentic self. And if you need more assistance with this, you can follow me. I'm on all the social media platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, you name it. I'm out there. LinkedIn, I'm everywhere. Follow me. You'll learn even more ways to make yourself confident and competent and authentic. Life is too short to waste it being inauthentic and hiding all of those great things about yourself. So let's all agree that 2026 is going to be the year that we become more organized, that we optimize our efficiency, increase coin, and we start living our authentic selves by becoming confident in our competence. I fully expect to hear from you. I want to get direct messages, DMs, as you know, emails. Why don't you tell me what plan you have for becoming more authentically you and not being afraid to fly your freak flag. I want to thank you all for joining me again on Hump Day for your guilty pleasure here at the Salty Goddess Podcast. I'm Margaret Perry. Please follow, share, subscribe, download, and tell everyone who could stand to hear this message to come on out here and download and listen to all these episodes and follow me on TikTok. All right. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you again next week in my corner of the multiverse. I'm Margaret Perry. Have a wonderful day filled with opportunity, my friends.